Hey guys, welcome back. This is Cam. Today I'm going to repot this BLC Hawaii Star Pink Lace. This orchid here has been growing in semi-hydroponic for the past couple of years ever since I purchased it. I purchased it when it was a seedling, and this has never flowered for me, so I don't know what the color looks like. It has outgrown its pot right here, and I think it's time to plot this into a bigger pot, which is this pot here. Now I'm gonna keep this in semi-hydroponic as well, but I'm gonna do a little differently this time. Instead of having a reservoir with two holes about 1 inch and a half above the bottom, I'm going to do an 2-cup style. So 1 cup where I drill a lot of holes, you can see, and another cup no holes. Basically just sit on top. What is the benefit of having this style? In this style where you have a lot of holes on the side and you have a cup holding it, if you need to flush the media, it's so easy to flush. You just take it out of the cup and basically just run water over it. You don't worry about anything deposit on the bottom. Whereas this style, there may be some deposit on the bottom, and also there's going to be algae growing, which many of you know that it's going to look ugly in your cup. For example, look at this one. It has algae growing. Now, also, this particular style, if you want to grow your Dendrobium nobile type, which require a winter rest, this style works best because you can basically drain all the water, let it dry. And what you could do is, because there is a gap in between, you could just put a little bit of water there and allow it to evaporate through the air, okay? This way, you don't have to worry about your Dendrobium nobile type does not have a winter rest, okay? Now, do keep in mind though, Dendrobium nobile type are top heavy, so if you are gonna use this style, I suggest use the bigger containers and maybe add some rocks on the top to hold the weight down, or on the bottom to hold the weight down, okay? So let's go ahead and look at this orchid here. After about a couple of years, sorry for the spider web. I don't have a spider mite here. I just have a spider problem when I grow outdoor. A good problem to have, by the way. Because of this year, the winter is very cold. I noticed some of the roots has turned brown. It also a trait for Cattleya or BLC family, right? The older root will die off naturally. Okay, so let's go ahead and unpot this, and we'll see what are we working with. Today I got this container here to hold the media for me. Alrighty. So as you can see, the older root here has rotted it, and so I am just gonna waiting for a new set of root coming out. I would gently remove all the rotten roots, which I don't need. This one is rotted as well. And you do realize that the older root would naturally die off by itself regardless. Now, you also notice that there's a lot of mineral deposit on this particular one because I didn't flush enough. If you have not grown hydroponics, semi-hydroponic before, let me tell you this, you do need to flush your media, as in soak it, rinse it every once in a while to avoid calcium buildup or any mineral buildup. Would it harm your root? Probably not. As you can see, some of the root have deposit in them and it doesn't really harm that much. So it really depends on you, your preference, okay? But I do recommend flushing it every once in a while to avoid any possibility of burning your roots, especially the new roots. Some of the older roots have pretty much died off. What's the benefit of growing in semi-hydroponic? The benefit is you don't have to worry about changing the media. Also, if you live in a dry climate, semi-hydroponic would actually help to provide the humidity your orchid needs. If you live in a humid area, you can also do semi-hydroponic, but it isn't necessary. You can just grow it in traditional media and it will just grow fine. Not all orchids likes to be potted in semi-hydroponic style. You do have to test and trial with your orchids. This one grows pretty well in semi-hydroponic, so I will just go ahead and repot it into a bigger pot using semi-hydroponic style. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. When I got this orchid, it was only having this clump here. This, and this. Maybe this. Okay, so these 4 right here. There's one more, but it is an older pseudobulb. And as you can see, the tiny one here, those probably were the seedling. And so these will die out eventually. If you want to remove it in this process, you can also remove it. But I try not to remove it if any of the bulb still can provide energy to the plant itself. Right now, California weather is warming up, so it is a perfect time to repot any plants that you need to be repotting. I will have a lot of plants to repot, but I'm not going to bore you with all this repotting video. I might select a few videos to upload for you guys, but I feel that it's necessary to go ahead and talk about semi-hydroponic today, as many of you probably have never experienced growing in semi-hydroponic. There is a wide variety of orchids that do enjoy semi-hydroponic, including your regular phals. In the past, I do have phals growing in semi-hydroponic, and I've been successfully rebloomed them with semi-hydroponic. If you don't have a lot of time to water your orchid, you might want to try semi-hydroponic because the reservoir will probably take a few days to dry it out. If you live in a humid area, possibly a week or 2 before it's completely dried out. If you're the kind of person that always busy and don't have a lot of time, I highly recommend give semi-hydroponic a try. After watching this video, you should be able to confident enough to go ahead and do semi-hydroponic. This is a new grow, by the way. I see some root tip around here is about to grow. I'm not sure you guys can see it. So that's a good sign. This particular one is going to be challenging for me to put in the pot because the canes are growing different directions. It's going to be a challenge for me to pot it into this pot here. It's not going to stop me from growing semi-hydroponic. If you are first time transitioning your orchids to semi-hydroponic, I do recommend you place the root on top of the media and try not to touch the water because the roots that are not subject to sitting in the water will most likely cause rot. You see this leaf, how it's normally died out? I don't think it's going to provide any more nutrient to the plant itself. So I'm just going to have them rip it out. So now I'm just going to position the plant into the pot where I think it's the best positions. I have here clay pellet. That's what you want to use when you grow in semi-hydroponic. So I think this is where I'm going to go with it. You can use any brand of clay pellet of your choice. There's no one brand fits all. If you're worried about pH level, in the past, I used other brand. I didn't seem to have any pH problem with my media. Never run a test though. I don't have any root burn or anything like that in that nature. So if you flush up media regularly, you wouldn't have any pH problem. All right, so it's just gonna sit on top like that nicely. I'm just gonna put the tack in here. I will make sure to write a new repotting date so that I know when it's the last time we repotted. Now remember what I told you? I'm just gonna let it sit on top here, sit in here. The way I'm gonna do the water reservoir, I'm gonna keep the water around this level. I'll show you. Okay, so I gone ahead and water this plant so that clay pellet are evenly moist. I don't have any problem with drying out in between. I don't have any layering problem in terms of moisture wise. So the water level, it's around here, but really it's not that much water. If you lift it up, it's only a little bit of water, so that much water. I would probably don't need to water until it's dried out. If you see algae growing in the outer pot, you can actually clean it and replace with fresh water. You want to feed this orchid every once in a while, or if you have a schedule like on a weekly basis, feed it, drain the water, and then add fresh water. You can just soak the whole plant. This is why I use this style, because you can actually soak the entire plant and then pour out all that fertilizer. And then you can add new water, fresh water. What kind of water do you want to use for this particular semi-hydroponic style? You want to use reverse osmosis water, rainwater, or distilled water. You could use tap water, but tap water do contain a lot of minerals. So if you are gonna use tap water, make sure you let it sit out for a couple of days in order for the chlorine to dissipate. Now there are other ways to neutralize the chlorine. So I've been told to use vitamin C that you could basically neutralize the chlorine. I have never tried that myself, but if you want to try, go ahead and do so. I normally have reverse osmosis water in my house, so I can easily use them. And given that this is semi-hydroponic, it doesn't require a lot of water. So I can spare some reverse osmosis water. All right, guys, if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications. I know many of you come to my channel and not subscribe. I understand, but if you could kindly enough to subscribe, that would help me to generate more, my goal to reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you could kindly hit that subscribe button, I'd be appreciated. Thank you.